Saw the money and got activated. Saw the money and got activated. Saw that money and got activated. I saw that money and got activated.
What is going on today, guys? It is a great day. It is beautiful out. It's just a great day. It's awesome to be alive. One more day. So today we are back on the Hardbody now that we finally got the stuff kind of done with the Cummins. We still got a little odds and ends stuff to do. I kind of just want to drive it this fall and stuff because that's when I enjoy the truck the most, is like in the cooler weather and stuff. So probably not a ton of videos going to be on the Cummins really. Not like working on it at least, but I'm sure there'll be lots of event videos and stuff of that nature. But we got to have the Hardbody done by October 25th. Today is the 29th, September 29th. So we have about roughly 25 days, roughly 25 days until the Hardbody needs to be ready. Not for any real particular reason, but the Indy Halloween Drift Bash at Killcare Raceway is the 25th, and my goal was to kind of have the truck finished and have the livery kit on it done, and I was kind of hoping to wide body it by then, but we'll see. I don't know if that's going to happen just because it's already looking like a pretty big time crunch. But we're going to drive. The goal was to at least be able to drive it there and kind of, if there is a test and tune, we'll go ahead and test and tune it. But I know that the spots are pretty much all filled, and I don't know if there's a test tune that day or not. So I'm not really pressed on that. I kind of just want to drive it there just because it's about an hour cruise. I think I'm going to try to convoy out with some friends. I'm not 100% sure yet. I kind of want to maybe start an event on Facebook or something to like cruise out, have like a little cruise out, convoy out. That'd be pretty dope. But without further ado, I'm going to stop talking as I usually do and kind of show you guys what we're about to do. So as you guys are aware, we have been doing the rear suspension work, the leaf springs out on this side. One thing I didn't really film, but I cut that sleeve off of this bolt. And I cut and kind of rethreaded this. Because we did like smash it or whatever. But the one thing we are about to do that I didn't really initially plan on doing is we're going to pull the bed off, because we're going to box in the frame right back here, and we're going to put some X bracing in, some steel tube X bracing in, and kind of the bed's a little crusty in some spots. Like this is like mostly surface rust, but I kind of want to clean it all up. So I'm assuming the bolts on the bed and stuff probably aren't going to come out all that great. So we probably will be sawzalling a lot of these bolts off and putting new ones in when we go to put it back on. But another thing is I kind of want to just like wire wheel the whole frame down and stuff, and wire wheel everything down, and having the bed off just gives me more access to all of that. So that's kind of the plan as of right now. And we also we'll be making those custom shock towers, which we have shocks now. So we'll have to get that all measured out, spec'd out, kind of figure out how that's going to go. The bar that goes across, I initially planned on welding it in, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to weld the initial plate here and here on the frame. And then the bar that goes across, I'm going to make it bolt in, because I want to make it removable. So if we ever want to take the bed off for any reason, we can do that. Not that it's really a big deal, but yeah. So without further ado, we're gonna have to get all these clips off for all the wiring, get the taillights out, and then kind of start pecking away at all the bolts. The filler neck is kind of like already hanging in there, so that shouldn't be too hard. And I don't think the bed weighs a whole lot, so should be pretty easy to get that taken care of. And then one thing I'm really not looking forward to is we got to get all this foam off the side of the truck. So if you didn't watch the Cummins videos, we actually had a little bit of an explosion in here, and foam got all over the side of the Hardbody. So that's a mess we have to deal with now. But yeah, so this probably will kind of lead into the next couple days. just because I don't plan on being out here very long, because I still have to film a video that is supposed to drop today, which is the Cummins reveal. I still have to go film the montage for that, so kind of just getting a head start and everything. So all right, so we got the rear bed bolts and the taillights and the wiring harness out of the truck. I'll go ahead and show you guys that. Okay, the taillights are out, all the wiring's down here. The rear bed bolts, like I thought, just broke off, so we'll just drop new bolts in there. I think I'm gonna actually cut all these rails, because see how they're kind of rusty? They're not like holes, they're just flaked up. I might actually cut these rails and weld in new spots just so this bed's secured. I'd hate to put it back on and then like it break or something, because this, I mean, you have to think it's gonna be getting abused. It's probably gonna get hit into a couple walls, I'm sure. I'd rather the bed not like fall off or something. So gonna go ahead and try to get the, I have 4 total bolts left to get the bed off. So let me go ahead and knock it. Okay, so as you guys saw, we just got the bed off the Hardbody. It was a lot heavier than I thought it was, but we managed to maneuver it. Pretty much all of the bolts broke. I'll just go ahead and show you guys. So here we got the bed, as you saw. I flipped it up so that way I can get to the underside of it. It's actually not as rusty as I thought. It just looks bad under the truck, I guess. This is all just surface stuff, like there's no holes, it's all solid. So we'll probably just hit everything with a wire wheel and just trying to kind of paint over everything. See, like this stuff kind of is a little bit, I don't know if it's like some bump stops or whatever they are. We'll probably just cut this off altogether. We may cut the lips out of these, I don't know. And then we'll kind of assess this stuff now, because this is starting to get, this is where they start to rust apart, and they'll the seam will separate. Looks like the worst part of the bed is right here. This is looking pretty rusty, so we might have to do something with this bracket. I don't know, I guess we'll find out. But enough with the bed. That's the least of our worries. By the way, this was already damaged on the truck. You just can't ever tell. Somebody must have dropped the truck or the something, I don't know. Went ahead and shut the door, so I finally got some lighting in here. But the frame is actually not looking all too bad. It's just really dirty. So pulling the bed off was just a way easier move instead of trying to weld under the truck, because I can't weld laying down. It's just not something in my aroma of capabilities, because I can barely weld as it is, let alone welding laying under a vehicle. So enough with talking. I guess I'm going to figure out what we're going to do next. We're kind of looking at everything. I might go ahead and try and mini notch this, just to go ahead and get it out of the way in case it does need to happen. So for those that don't know, a mini notch just consists of kind of like putting a small notch in the frame, not like a full notch, but just enough to allow clearance for the axle to kind of travel. But again, we probably won't be able to mini notch it until we get the re-drill done, because I think it might pull the axle forward a little bit. Actually, no, backward, I think. It'd be nice if we went backward, because it would keep us away from this crossover piece. But, yeah, I guess we'll start pulling this wiring off. Alright, so what would be a time crunch build if there wasn't some hiccups? So, as some of you may or may not know, when I got this truck, the back half of the frame was kind of rotted out. And we patched it up, as you can see here, with a nice piece of 1/4-inch steel, and did the other side as well, and everything seemed sturdy. Now, this could have happened before, I don't know. There's a good chance that it did, but I was back here looking at this because I'm gonna box in this whole frame right here, and I was kind of looking at everything, and I noticed that it seemed as if the frame on this side was kind of arching down more than that side. So I kind of started looking at it, and I noticed the frame kind of had crinkled right here, and that would make sense because this is like obviously the stress point, like where kind of like if you keep bending something back and forth, that's where it would like break at. So that's kind of like what this was. And I noticed if you like shake the frame, it would kind of, it didn't bend right here, but you could just feel it wasn't nearly as like stiff and strong as that side, which could also be part of our wheel hop issue. Because if the frame moves, the whole truck will like act like it has wheel hop. So I went ahead and I got a straight board out, laid it across here, put a level on it, and then I started jacking up the frame until it was exactly level. So it turns out this side was slightly lower, and like I said, there was that crinkle right here. I went ahead and tapped it out and kind of tapped this out here where it crinkled up. So now the goal is to try to box the underside and box the back side in, and then try to bring this a little farther back to kind of add some more strength to it. And then I'm gonna weld more here because I didn't weld the bottom right here, and that should take care of our issue as far as that goes. And then once we add X bracing in here, I think that'll kind of tie everything to where it's nice and straight. But the last thing I want to do is start welding X bracing in with the frame crooked, because you know, I mean, I guess it wouldn't really adjust, it wouldn't change how the truck drives, it would just have like a lower ride height on one side or whatever else. So really want to do it the right way. You know, it's not a big secret that the frame isn't the best on this truck. I could care less what anybody has to say about it. You know, this is a beginner drift truck. This thing's going to get thrashed worse than it's ever gotten thrashed in its life. So it'd be stupid to you know, not just try to patch it up and get it, you know, the way it should be. I guess some people are probably scared of stuff like that because they don't have, I don't want to say skill set because I don't want anybody to get mad, but truth is some people really don't have the skill set to fix, you know, big problems like that, I guess. I don't know. I don't technically have the skill set either. I'm just kind of self-taught, but it is what it is. At the end of the day, I'm the one that's got to drive down the road, so. Okay, so we found our resolution. So we got angled steel that I forgot about, and it just so happens to fit up behind this piece of steel here. So as you can tell, that'll kind of just butt up here, and then what I'll do is I'll weld it across to the back of here, and then I'll obviously weld it up here, and then what we'll take is we'll take a piece of flat steel and interlock it here, weld it there, and that'll kind of bump it out to like right here, and then we'll take a piece of flat steel and box in the frame right there. And then for shits and giggles, we're just gonna, we'll put like maybe a couple tack welds or just fully weld this across, and then we'll weld it here and here, and then we're still gonna add that piece of extra steel here that goes across. And then we also found some steel. This stuff's pretty thick too, and that's what we use to box in and tie our X bracing bars into, which this is our X bracing bar here. It's not ideal, I guess, but it was free and there's a ton of it. I still have like two 4-foot. Actually, these are like two 6 or 7 foot sections. So since it's not as thick as I originally planned on running, we're gonna run. Originally, I was just gonna run one bar across like this to kind of tie it in. But now I think the plan is to run a bar like that, and then run a secondary bar across like so. So it would run like that, so it'll tie kind of the frame together in a sense. This may not even really be doing a whole lot. It's really for peace of mind. And I may even run a bar across here, which is probably a little over the top, but I kind of want to have something back here with you know, not running a bumper and stuff. I kind of want to have something to tie off to if needed. We should have plenty of leftover steel tubing. If not, we can go buy some. So we're out here. I'm not even gonna try to talk and explain anything. We're just gonna start welding because we don't have a ton of time. I've been working 10-hour days, so welding. Does not look like the day is on our side, so we already ran out of wire. I should have checked it. That's my fault. We gotta run and get wire now. This sucks. It's 7 o'clock and we're hardly even started. I really wanted to get the X bracing in, you know, for this video, because I don't want to, you know, I want something worthwhile in the video, but got to do with the cards you're dealt with, I guess. So okay, so we just got back with our wire, and we got some spray paint to hopefully motivate us to finish the X bracing, because I got the color paint. I want to paint the X bracing, which I may or may not like. We'll see. But really sucks because it's already dark out, and it's hard to weld out here when it's dark, but we're going to try to power through it, because this needs to, we got to get some work done on this thing. Like, it just has to get as close to done as possible. So yeah, I guess we're gonna power through it. Okay, so we just got our one section welded up. I'll show you. So we got this whole deal all welded up. That whole angle iron back piece right there all welded up. I let the jack down. It actually seems like the frame is a lot sturdier. I'll kind of show you guys. It bounces because it's got all the weight of the axle, versus this side doesn't. This side seems a lot stiffer, but I think I was kind of freaking out for no reason, because I was thinking about it. This side of the frame has nothing on it. There's no leaf springs, no axle hanging under it or anything. This one legit has an axle and a leaf spring and everything hanging. So this side of the frame is probably already going to be distinctively lower than that side. But I guess it doesn't hurt to add a little more rigidity in there. So what we did was we welded the crap out of each end here, and then we only put like a 1.5 inch weld every like a couple inches on the bottom. So that should be plenty strong enough. Like, I mean, it's definitely strong. So we'll probably clean all that up, and then I think I'm gonna go a different route with the X bracing. I'm not gonna do like a full, I'm not going to box in the backside of the frame, because I kind of realized that these already kind of do that job of the X bracing, but I am still gonna put bracing in. So I'm gonna just run a bar straight across to here, and then I might run a bar across from these to here, and then I'm definitely gonna run that bar across from here between these two right here, and then run a bar right here to kind of give it strength. So if you tied a rope around it or something, that you have that extra kind of, I don't know how to explain it, but yeah. Okay, so we got our first bar kind of just dry fitted in there. It actually fits so perfectly that it just sits in there without even being welded. So we got that. We're gonna weld that up right now, and then we're gonna next probably kind of pull one of these, or pull something like this. And as you can see, I mean, it's strong. So all right, so we just put our, I know we were saying we may or may not put that second bar in. I just went ahead and did it because might as well, instead of later on saying, oh, I wish I would have put it on. So I'll show you guys what we had to do with that. We went ahead and took this, we just cut like a notch in it, and then cut it to length. It sits like about right there, roughly. As you can tell right here, it's not gonna be a perfect fitment. I'm probably just gonna put like a round weld across the tops. So like underneath the bed, it'll just look like it's kind of sitting on it, but it'll actually be welded. It doesn't need to be, you know, welded all the way around on it, just because, you know, it's not gonna serve an extreme purpose, but I do wanna definitely tie the bars together. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean up these areas right here at each end, and then go ahead and throw some welds on that. I mean, my welds aren't good at all. They look hideous, but they've been strong so far. So they're not pretty welds. I definitely wouldn't pay to have somebody weld something and it look like that. But my welds are strong. I've welded like literally everything on all my vehicles, and nothing has broken yet. So for anyone that wants to talk crap and say, oh, your welds look like crap, well, guess what? They ain't broke yet. So when I have a weld break, then you can talk crap. I'm not a skilled welder, guys, but it's better than not being a welder at all, right? Sure. So we got all of our bracing bars welded in. This is kind of the outcome. So the real test is I'm going to stand on the center of it and see if it breaks in half. If it breaks in half, then you guys can make fun of me for my welds. I'm kind of scared because if it does break, it's gonna. All right, boys, here we go. All right, I'm standing on it, dead center. I'm jumping. Okay, nobody can make fun of my welds now. This is 200 and, all right, this is 170 pounds. And this isn't like notched into the frame or anything. This is pure, just welded on. So, oh shit, about fell. We're all in. Okay, so we got our, we got this dry fitted in. It actually works out because there's a hole right here. And I just kind of put a bolt like inside the tube to hold it in its place. That way we can weld it without having to hold it, because that was the one thing I was worried about. So then we're gonna run this, and I think we're gonna run a bar from here to here, so that when we do tie a rope to it, say the truck needs pulled out of something or we slide off or something, you can loop it through the T right here, and it should be a lot stronger instead of pulling dead center in this, because I'm almost 100% positive this would bend if you put dead center force on it right here. But if we weld a bar there, I think it'll be fine. So I'm gonna weld this up right here, and then we'll mock up that secondary bar right there going across. Okay guys, so we got our last bar down here all welded in. It's looking pretty good. I'd say the back of this truck is gonna be about as stiff as it's gonna get, as far as, you know, frame flex and stuff like that. Yeah, it actually turned out a lot better than I thought. It's really bugging me because if you look, this bar just barely moves like a centimeter to the right. Other than that, I'm pretty impressed. I lied. We're not gonna paint anything tonight. That'll be in the next video, just because I gotta go inside and edit this. Plus, I feel like there was a decent amount of content in this video, so. I'm currently sitting on top of the Hardbody, but I feel like there was a decent amount of content in this video, so, you know, I don't feel too guilty kind of leaving you guys without at least seeing the color that we're gonna paint everything. But just know it's gonna be ignorant. Well, I guess it's not. I mean, depending on the type of person you are, it might be ignorant. But in the next video, we'll be painting all that up. Hopefully getting the suspension together and starting on the vertical shocks. And around that time frame, we should be able to put the bed on. With that being said, guys, that's going to be it for today's video. I really appreciate you guys watching. I know the Hardbody, you know, progress has been getting dragged out, but that's kind of how anything is when you take the time to like go through everything singularly versus like how I normally will like tear something apart, throw it back together, but not do it the right way just so I can drive it for 2 days and then tear it all back apart again. That's usually the way I do things, but I'm starting to learn that that is not, you know, that's not the right way to do it, because things happen and then it's just 20 times more work. But the good news is we got the Cummins running and stuff, so we have that. And then the Hardbody should be coming together. Once we get the rear frame and stuff done, don't forget we still have to do the axle seals and the rear drum brakes, and then we got to start cutting the bump stops out of the front and put some shocks up front and kind of trim everything for the angle that we need. We do have a lot of work, like when you really sit down and think about it. For some reason I keep telling myself we really don't have that much work left, but after just kind of thinking about it, we have a ton of work left. So with that being said, I'm going to go inside and edit this video. It is like 10 or 11, I think. And then I got to be up for work at, 6 o'clock. And then we'll do it all over again tomorrow when I get off of work. We'll come out here and work some more. And yeah, so I'll see you guys in the next video. Might be on the Hardbody, might be a video of us wrecking the Cummins into a tree. You never know. See you guys later.